of stumbled across surrogacy from there, really. Googled it basically and found Surrogacy UK, which is a great organisation that I then joined, basically, and then it's a bit like online dating for surrogates, really.
I'm just going to stop you there for 1 second because I can't wait to hear all about it, and I'm sure you guys at home can't wait to hear either. But do share your kind of views on surrogacy. Maybe you are a surrogate and you want to share how you went about doing it. Maybe you are looking for a surrogate and you also want to get in contact with us. So don't forget to comment on this today. Now, I don't know about you, but when I was pregnant, and I don't know about you guys at home, I didn't really like being pregnant, and so it's not I didn't like it, and it's not like I didn't value it. So before anyone jumps on that, it's just that for me, I threw up during both my pregnancies the whole time, and then giving birth.
There's no way, I would have done it. I had a really easy pregnancy with the twins, and I thought, gosh, I carried twins really easily. I'll be fine carrying a singleton. It'll be totally fine. But actually, having toddlers at home that you're trying to potty train and being pregnant was pretty hard work. It was difficult.
But it's a pretty selfless thing to go from saying, oh, it would be nice and to have a child for somebody else, to actually then doing it. So what was that driving factor? What made you say, you know what, I value this so much that I want to go and do this?
Just becoming a parent and really loving being a mum and being a parent, and just knowing that there are a lot of people out there that can't have that joy. And it's just something pretty amazing that you can do. That was my drive, really. I just wanted to give something back and make a family.
Actually, did you know on that point, just bringing up a statistic here, that 3.5 million British couples actually struggle with infertility, which is quite a staggering number, isn't it? So in terms of kind of people reaching out to surrogacy as a way to bring children into this world is obviously what we're here talking about today. Now, how do you kind of go about finding who it is that you want to actually have a baby for? And maybe some of you guys have had to do this. How did you, if you're listening and you've used a surrogate, how did you find that, I suppose, that special couple that you like enough that you're willing to carry a child, to conceive? And I'm interested very much in terms of how it actually happens, and we're going to be coming to that. And I'm sure you guys are at home as well. Enough to conceive, go through the process of carrying that child, and then being able to give it over at the end of it. So how do you find that?
Like I said, I joined Surrogacy UK, and basically once you've gone through some checks, like you have to go to your GP and make sure that you're well enough to be pregnant, and you have to have STI tests to make sure you haven't got any sexually transmitted diseases or anything like that. So once you've got the all clear from that, then as a surrogate, you get access to what they call the IPs. So the IPs are the intended parents, the people that want to have children. So as a surrogate, you get to access their profile. So they write a little diary about themselves, and then you go through, like I said, a bit like online dating.
And then it's like Tinder for parents. Without the sex.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's just a really weird...
maybe with the sex.
Well, sort of. Like, I'm going to have a baby with this person I've never met. So, it's a bit strange.
And do you literally get to... Is it kind of like from Monica... Can you remember when Chandler and Monica were on Friends? Was it Chandler and Monica were on Friends, and they suddenly start kind of going, oh, we like you as a couple and we don't like you as a couple?
Yes, I think, I do vaguely remember. Yeah, it is a bit like that. Sort of swipe left, I don't like you.
Swipe left if you like.
So I kind of knew in my head I wanted to have a baby for a gay couple. So that was kind of like I don't know why.
Is there a reason for that?
Well, I was going to say my best friend's gay, and he doesn't want children, but I think he would make an amazing parent, and I would hope someone would do it for him if he did choose to have children. And I wouldn't, because I think it's a bit too close to do it for your friend. Personally, myself, I know a lot of surrogates are for their sisters or cousins, but I think that would be too close for me. I wanted someone I didn't know.
I wonder what our viewers at home. I wonder what would make you give this amazing gift,
yeah.
or at least consider it, you know, what is it? Is it, you know, maybe your sister, maybe a relative, maybe your best friend can't conceive, and would you go to that totally selfless act of actually helping them have a child? So the couple that you found, so you've just given birth 4 weeks ago. 4 weeks ago, I cannot believe this, to a lovely little baby girl.
Yeah, beautiful.
And the couple that you chose to do this for is a gay couple.
Yeah.
And why did you choose them?
So basically, I looked at their profile, and you have to really have a friendship with. This is a whole ethos of Surrogacy UK is to become friends with the people. So, you know, you're going to go through this massive journey. So I looked to people that I thought I could be friends with. So they're into the same kind of things as me. They like travelling. They're the same sort of age as me. So we could talk about TV shows when we were kids, you know, it wasn't, you know, and similar interests, that kind of thing.
And do you actually go on I want to say a date,
but it did feel like a date. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, do you actually go on a date?
So I live in Devon and they live in London. So we thought we'd meet in the middle.
Okay.
So we met in Bristol. And I remember standing outside this pub that we decided to meet and just like more nervous than I would be if I was meeting, you know, a boyfriend or, you know, potential boyfriend.
That's brilliant.
And yeah, it was a sort of awkward, like we chatted on the phone and we'd text and things beforehand, but it was an awkward first meeting of kind of like, give you a hug, what shall I do? I don't know. You know.
I bet you guys are wondering, what did you do on your first date?
Well, we did a lot of talking, we drank a lot of wine, and we had a curry. That was...
So it is actually like a first date?
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
A little bit different because you're aware that you potentially want to have a baby with these people, which you don't really think of your first date normally.
I was going to say, talk about going through the bases so quickly in terms of when we're not just talking about, can I go on a second date with you? We're kind of talking, can I maybe have you in my life forever?
I'll carry a baby for you. Yeah.
And carry a baby for you. And did the couple that you chose, did they meet in an ideal world? You know, everything that was on your list?
Yes, yeah. It was actually the sort of, we met a few times, and it's when they met my daughters that I really knew that these were the guys that I wanted to do it for, because they were just beautiful with my children and just absolutely adored them, and they're just lovely. So I thought, you know, if they're like that with my girls, then, you know, obviously I want the baby to grow up in a lovely, loving family, and I could see that from them. So that was a big drive for me.
And I'm assuming that trust is a huge thing in this whole process, because my understanding is that you can't pay in the UK for somebody to carry your child. Now, my understanding is that somebody can pay for, say, your hospital care or things like that. Do you mind kind of explaining that to viewers? Because I'm sure you're maybe asking, well, why would you do this? Is there a money thing? Is it just pure selfless thing? And for you, it is totally and utterly selfless, but there's going to be costs involved.
Yeah, you don't want to, you know, lose out, you know, not lose out, but, you know, you don't want to be make yourself worse off just because you're having a baby for someone else.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you can claim expenses. So basically stuff like travel to and from the hospital, paying for parking, even stuff like a bit of extra childcare. I've got twins, they're hard work, so I put them in for an extra day of nursery every now and again, just to have a rest when my first trimester I was feeling pretty exhausted and rubbish, and so it was just bits and bobs like that.
Yeah. It's your egg.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, with one of these men's sperm. Do you know which one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, so you have two consenting adults. I'm just going to ask the question. So, did you have sex? How did it happen? Did you have sex? And I'm sure you guys want me to ask this question as well.
We definitely didn't have sex, but it was a pretty strange experience, really, especially for my boyfriend. It was like a weird foursome, sort of. So basically, I just tested my ovulation. So when I was really ovulating, I gave Joe and Mike, that's the dads, gave them a ring to say, today's the day, or, it's going to be in the next couple of days. And it just so happened that they had just got married and they were on their honeymoon, and they landed in Heathrow, and I rang them and said, today's the day, I'm ovulating. So they dashed down, hired a car, dashed down to Devon, and got to my house about 10 o'clock at night. And we sort of all looked at each other, my boyfriend and myself and Joe and Mike, like, right, how are we going to do this? So we basically came up with an idea that I've only got a 2-bedroom house. My twins were asleep in their bedroom. Joe and Mike were downstairs in the lounge. They basically just had to do their business.
So they kind of went off in a room?
They went off in their room. I was upstairs, and they WhatsApped me when they did it in a little pot.
I was going to say, and they put it into a pot.
They put it into a pot. They put the pot on my windowsill next to my bathroom, and then I got a little WhatsApp saying, it's here, we're done.
And then I'm sure the question is, how do you then get it inside of you?
Yeah, so I'm a nurse, so, for me, it wasn't anything too unusual. I just used a syringe, basically, syringed it up and popped it in like a turkey baster, really. with my poor boyfriend lying in bed next to me going, this is the weirdest thing I've ever had happen in my life. This is totally bizarre. And he said, I didn't realise you were going to do it in bed next to me. I was like, where did you think I was going to do it? He said, I thought you were going to do it in the bathroom. I was like, well, no, because then I'd have to walk from the bathroom to the bedroom, and I'd worry it would all come out. And so I sort of just put my legs up on a pillow and just sort of thought, oh, this is very strange.
I don't know about you guys at home, but right now the images that I have in my head are absolutely brilliant, Sarah, in terms of, I'm kind of now imagining some kind of turkey basin thing, kind of upside down, legs akimbo.
Absolutely.
I don't know what images you currently have in your mind, but I have to tell you, it's put a smile on my face. And perhaps you guys have your own stories. Perhaps if you have been a surrogate, how did you actually conceive? I'd love to hear kind of some more stories about that. So please do share them. So did it then happen? Did you fall pregnant that time?
Well, no, actually we had one try beforehand, and we joke about it because I'm a bit of a cheapskate. I don't like spending too much money, and obviously like pregnancy tests and ovulation kits are really expensive, and I wanted to save Joe and Mike the money because they would be paying for that. Yeah. So the first couple of times I got the cheapest ovulation kit, and we tried and we didn't get pregnant, and so the next time the boys said, you get the really expensive ones, and it just happened on the second attempt. So yeah, we're really lucky, and we call it the honeymoon baby because they just come back from their honeymoon and they were all loved up and it was all just tanned and they looked gorgeous. So then
I'm going to kind of I think your story is amazing at the moment, so I'm so intrigued, but my biggest question to you is, so you then went through pregnancy knowing that this child at the end of pregnancy, when you gave birth to your baby girl, that you would then be handing her over. Now, when I was pregnant, and I'm sure if you're as a parent listening at home, I started bonding with my children when they're inside your womb or my womb. And you kind of I started thinking of names for my son, for my daughter. But you had a baby inside of you for 9 months, knowing that at the end of it, you had to give it up. Now, do you have to give it up? And how does that feel?
I think, because from day dot, I knew that she wasn't mine. And, it's not like I carried her for 9 months and expecting her to keep her and then I had to give her up. That would be horrendous and I would, be awful. But I knew from that first pregnancy test, she wasn't mine, and I was doing, it's something I wanted to do. I was just so excited for Joe and Mike. They were getting excited. They would send me pictures of the little outfits they thought they were going to get, and doing up the nursery and that sort of thing. So I had it through them, really. I felt that excitement. It was strange, because she was a very active baby. She was kicking a lot all the time. Yeah. And for me, it was weird when I'd had her to not have a baby, but also not have the kicking feeling and not have you've got a newborn, your mind is so taken up with having a newborn that you don't think about the fact that she's not kicking inside you anymore. But for me, I used to lie there at night, the first sort of week, thinking something's missing. This is strange, because I've felt this for so long, but now it's gone. And didn't have the distractions of having a newborn, but on the flip side, also didn't have the 2 hourly
dirty nappies,
feeding in the night, and I could have a large glass of wine. So that was very nice.
So what actually happens? What happens And I'm sure maybe viewers might be wanting to know, what happens if you change your mind? So what happens if you go through the whole process and you give birth to this baby and then you suddenly think, I want to keep it, I'm really sorry.
This is where the trust comes in, not just from the parents, but for me, I have to trust the parents that they wanted to keep the baby, because I had the slight worry that what if I gave birth and there was something wrong with her, and Joe and Mike said they didn't want to have her,
That's a very good point, actually.
I don't want another baby. I don't want a child. I'm not ready to have a baby at the moment. I've got my life, so it's not just trusting that for them that I might want to keep it. It's for me that they won't want to keep her. In regards to your question, it's basically you get 6 weeks until the parents can apply for what's called a parental order. So I get timed like a cooling off period, I guess.
Okay.
A bit like adoption. You don't decide straight away, but the difference with adoption is that the baby went straight to Joe and Mike. I didn't have her at my house or anything at all. They took her straight from the hospital. But then they will apply when she's 6 weeks old to go through the courts to become her legal parents. So Mike, who's the biological father, is already on the birth certificate. But Joe will then it just goes through the courts basically, and I sign off any parental responsibility I have. So at the moment I've still got parental responsibility. Like they want to take her on holiday, so I had to sign all the passport forms and that kind of thing. And if there was medical problems, I probably would still have to be involved, giving my consent. But
So I want to follow on from that in a second, but first, when you decided to go through this whole process, you mentioned that you have a boyfriend at the moment.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
How did your family, how did your boyfriend, how did they respond to you saying, I want to do this? Because it's a life-changing thing.
It is, yeah.
And it requires a big commitment.
Yeah.
What was the reaction from those around you?
So it was funny with my boyfriends. So basically I was single, I'd split up with my twins, the twins' dad. And at the same sort of time as I decided I wanted to do surrogacy, I went on a date that I never thought would come of anything with my lovely now boyfriend Chris, and I just told him on the first date. We just went for a drink, met him on Tinder, went for a drink.
Little did he know what he was letting himself in for.
I said to him, I'm going to be a surrogate, just off the cuff, because I thought I'm probably never going to meet you again, this is nothing serious, it's just a bit of fun. Little did he know that then, but actually it was really nice because he knew from the beginning, it wasn't a big secret. I didn't have to give this big, reasons why. He knew I wanted to be a surrogate, so he supported me the whole way. But I think he's had the hardest job of all of us. Yeah. He's had to have the pregnant hormonal woman and cope with her without even having a baby at the end of it. So he's been an absolute rock.
That is absolutely incredible.
It's been amazing.
I'd be interested to know, viewers at home, if your partner decided to do this, which I think is incredible, by the way, Sarah, how would you respond? So, how would your boyfriend respond? How would your partner respond? Please share your views with us. What relationship will you have with the child moving forward? Like, how does that actually work?
Obviously, it's a gay couple I did it for.
Yep.
Obviously, Joe and Mike, neither of them have wombs. They're going to have to tell their daughter where she's come from. And so we're going to go for honesty is the best policy. Yep. Same with my twins. They've known that it was Joe and Mike's baby from day one. It's never been their sister or sibling or whatever. So I hope like I said, with Surrogacy UK, the whole ethos is becoming friends. So I hope that we're going to be friends. We're so close, the four of us, my boyfriend, Joe and Mike, that, I would love to, I've been up to see her when she was 2 weeks old. I'm going to see her after filming today.
So she's not with you at the moment?
No, I had a C-section and she went straight to Joe and Mike. I didn't even see her. I heard her cry, so I knew she was okay. And then she went to Joe and Mike.
Okay. Now, I think... I'm sure you guys at home, I'm actually welling up here. The reason is because I'm sure those of you that have given birth, that moment where you see your baby for the first time, where you hold your baby for the first time, for me was incredibly overwhelming. And it was just that moment where you become a parent, and the idea I think I'm totally inspired by you. But the idea that you had a C-section and you didn't hold her.
No. So this big blue screen was, they were all like that. So I couldn't see anything. Joe and Mike came into the theatre, which was amazing.
They were there.
They were there, both of them. Yeah, and they basically, I heard her cry, and off they went. And then they went back to their room, and Chris was in their room, so they sort of swapped over, and he came and sat with me while I was all stitched up and things.
Did you opt for a C-section because of that?
Yeah,
incredible.
My twins were born really prematurely. They were born at 31 weeks, so I didn't hold them either. So when they were born, they were really poorly, and they went straight to the neonatal unit. And I just lay there on my own at that point after having a C-section, and just felt it was awful, like they were ripped away from me and I didn't get to hold them. But so I didn't bond with them until they were quite a bit older, and so I think that's put me in good stead really, because I've had a birth like that before where I didn't get, I don't know, other surrogates obviously give birth naturally, and they spend however many hours in labour pushing, and then this miracle happens, like birth, and then they have to give the baby to her parents, which I think is probably a harder way of doing it. It was quite sort of, I just kept myself quite trying to be a bit detached from it, and I was really worried about bonding with her. I was worried she was going to look like my girls. That was my biggest worry. So I just chose to not see her that night. So I had her at 6 o'clock in the evening, and Joe and Mike took her, and I didn't see her. And then the next morning, I was sort of recovering, and I thought, actually, do you know what? I want to see them as a family. That's what my whole goal has been. I didn't necessarily want to see the baby. I just wanted to see Joe and Mike as a family
unit. How are you going to tell the story to your twins?
Yeah, that's a tricky one. I think we're going to keep in contact. We're not going to see each other all the time, but they're already planning to come down to Devon on holiday in August with the baby. And I think we're just all going to be really honest with each other. The twins, they've known it's Joe and Mike's baby. They love Joe and Mike. It's just going to be as normal as possible for them. I think they're at an age, they were sort of 2.5 to 3 when I was pregnant, and they were, they just took it like it was a normal thing. And so we just carry on like that. Just, Mummy carried Joe and Mike's baby in her tummy because they couldn't do it themselves.
Wow. So my question to you, Sarah, is would you do it again?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, if my boyfriend lets me, I would. Yeah, definitely.
There's no stopping you. There's no stopping you. So, I don't know about you, but I've been totally inspired by Sarah's story. Now, I don't know. I'm going to be very honest. I'm not going to be offering my body up as a surrogate, for a variety of different reasons. But perhaps you, as somebody who is either considering surrogacy or because of hearing this wonderful story today, would like to consider being a surrogate. What can people do, Sarah? How can they go about doing that?
So, Surrogacy UK, just join them. They're a really amazing organisation. They're always looking for surrogates. There are always loads and loads of people, all different kinds of people that want to be parents, so you can really help somebody, and it is the best feeling in the world.
Can't end on a better note than that. So Sarah, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
For joining us here today, and thank you for joining us here on Nurture Channel. Do comment below and share your stories with us, and we can't wait to see you here next time on Nurture Channel.
Wow.